See, till now we have completed Servlet. Servlet we learned it independently. Okay, we learned it independently means what? What is that technology and what features are there in the technology, all that we learned. But basically the technology has been given for us for writing what? Web applications. So whatever features are required for developing a web application, that we covered. Like whatever the features of Servlet you saw, input, output, networking, communication, session management, multi-threading, whatever. So whatever the features required for developing a web application, usually required for a web application development, has been provided to you by the technology. So means when you are developing a web application, one side you have to prepare this infrastructure support, other side you have to develop a application. Two things will be happening parallelly. So now what has happened is we don't bother about developing that infrastructure. All that support we use and directly start developing the web application. So all that is okay, but let's see now how practically we use a Servlet in developing a web application. Okay, so practically if you see, when you are developing a project, your project may be however big it might be. Okay, your project might be very big, massive, whatever it is. Okay, however big your project is, end of the day your project will have only one Servlet. We know how to write multiple Servlets, all that we know. Okay, but end of the day when you are doing it using practically Servlets in project, we will use only single single Servlet. In your project you will be having single Servlet. Only one Servlet will be there in your project. Now you might have a question why. There are plenty of reasons. See, this is the beginning. You have actually started seeing what a web application is. Okay, after completing Servlet technology, you understood what a web application is. Still you have not come across the problems. Still so many problems you face while developing a web application. So that I start explaining to you. Okay, there will be plenty of problems. So to solve all those problems, we will use many architectures and all that. So in the best architecture says, always your project should have only a single Servlet, the best architecture. Why means, see, simple reasons I'll give you, more it will become clearer as we proceed into the next level, that is JSP and all that. It is simple like this. See, supposing you make a request, okay, and you start having multiple Servlets. Example, for every request. See, this is one request, you are having one Servlet and you'll give back one response. Again one request will come and again you'll give back the response. Again you make one request, again you'll give back one response. But if you go on having multiple Servlets like this, it is not a good approach. Plenty of reasons are there. Okay, one of the reason might be you are having security problem. You are having multiple entry points into your application. That's one of the reason. Should not have multiple entry points into your application. Entry point, understood? Always see, if you are having a secure house, which one do you call a secure house? Secure house is a house which is having a single door. Always it should have a single door. If you have plenty of doors, now anybody can come from anywhere, no? So it will not be secure. So always we should see to that one single entry point is there. So always in our applications we see to that a single entry point is there. So due to that we will not have multiple entry points. Multiple entry points is nothing but what? Multiple Servlets. So that is one of the reasons. One is security reason. For security reasons you will have what? Single Servlet. Second would be, sometimes you will be writing some common logic in all the Servlets. Some common logic. Okay, will be written in all the Servlets. Like example, response.setContentType. I'm just telling basic things. Okay, response.setContentType, print writer, PW is equal to response. Leave that. But sometimes what happens, in every Servlet you will write some common logic like, supposingly you are applying security to your project. That security logic has to be checked where? Whether the user is valid or not. In every Servlet you have to write now. See, we decided to write single Servlet because of security reason. Means we'll have a single entry point. We'll have single entry point. Single entry point is done for what reason? Security reason. Fine. So then next, sometimes you write some common logic in all the Servlets, like it might be security logic, like if the user is valid or not. Okay. Sometimes you might be giving the display in an encrypted format or decrypted format, something like that. It might be, you might be having some compression logic, something like that. So those kind of logics, okay, like it might be encryption logic. So when you are doing display, you'll understand this. Means when you are giving some content to the user, you might give him in an encrypted format. So that logic has to be written in all the Servlets now. So that is one complexity. Then there is one more thing like session validation. You will have to do it in every what? Servlet. So like that redundantly you will go on writing so many logics again and again, again and again, again and again. Okay, and if you want to manipulate anything now, tomorrow you want to manipulate your security logic, okay, authentication and all that, you have to change it in all the servlets now. Like that it becomes a big headache. So there are plenty of reasons which I can't give you now, okay, because you have hardly seen what an application is. Okay, so due to that reason what I'll do is, I'll just conclude that when you're developing a project you need a single servlet. I'll conclude it. So and we'll see how to develop an application using a single servlet. So there are plenty of reasons. Okay, and this is also, if you have only one servlet in your project, it is called as front controller design pattern. Front controller design pattern. This is one of the design pattern. If you are having a single servlet, it is called as what? Front controller design pattern. Okay, now what is the design pattern you know? Okay, first for understanding, design pattern is a pattern in which you design something to solve a particular problem is called as design pattern. You know, I've given you the definitions for design pattern. That's okay. Now what is the problem? Understand the problem first. The problem is what? I want a single entry point into my application. That is the problem. So that is when they have designed one pattern called as front controller design pattern. The front controller design pattern is nothing but having what? Single servlet, that's it. Front controller design pattern is nothing but having a single servlet in your project or application. So it will be controlling, front controller like this. I'll explain you this. You can code it very easy. Okay, so this is also one of the design pattern now. Clear? And this is a JEE design pattern. We call this as, there are two types of design pattern. One is, one comes from the, which one? OOAD, Object Oriented Analysis Designer, or from OOPS. Okay, you got one design pattern. There are two types of design pattern. OOMD, Object Oriented Modeling Design. Okay, here only you get now singleton. So here you got JEE design pattern. This should be very clear now. Okay, OOMD includes some patterns like singleton, factory pattern. Many are there. I'm just giving you idea. Factory pattern, many are there. Okay, still many are there. We'll discuss about this later. Design patterns. In JEE you got, now JEE design pattern means what? These are related to applications. JEE is what? Java Enterprise Edition. When you are developing an Enterprise Edition application, you will come across many problems. Okay, so those problems to overcome, there are some design patterns. So this comes from the architects. JEE architects are there now. Architects means who? You are having terrific experience of 10 years, 15 years or 20 years of development in applications. They know what are the problems they face consistently. So these architects, they release this what? Design patterns. Okay, so here in JEE design patterns, plenty of design patterns are there. One would be front controller. Front controller is on design pattern. Then there are more design patterns. DAO is one more design pattern. Clear? Then MVC is one more design pattern. Like that, many design patterns will come here also. Many will come here. See, these are designing related to design of simple classes. When you are designing simple classes now, like singleton, factory, and all that, this will be related to simple classes. But these are related to development of application. So these are given to you by whom now? GOF. These are called as GOF design pattern. These patterns are called as GOF design pattern. Means gang of 4 people release this. I've given you the story about this GOF and all that. So this is given to, these are called as actually GOF design patterns. Understood? But this one is given to by whom now? JEE architects. So GOF design pattern are related to designing classes. And these are related to designing what? Means development of applications. So both design patterns are required when you develop a project. Understood? GOF patterns also you need, JEE design patterns also you need. Now more of JEE design pattern you will understand when you start using, when you start developing projects and application. Because you will have to see problem and then you will start understanding the solution. So right now what is the problem? I want a whatever the reason why you go for single servlet. Okay, the problem is what? I want a single entry point. So for that I'll use the design pattern called as front controller. So that's the concept. Now you have to see it finally what in coding only. Clear? So we'll see this, how you do it. Are you clear with the GOF design pattern and JW design pattern? This is used for what? Building classes, designing classes. This is used for what? Designing development of application. So plenty of design patterns will be used, and you don't neglect that. That is one of the most important interview question. When you say when you go with experience, the definite interview question is what are the different design patterns you used in your project? Explain why. All that they'll ask. Understood? It is a very, very, very important interview question. That's why I just started. As you go more deeper, like as we start seeing JSP and all that, you'll start getting very clear idea about all those design patterns. So whatever we are covering from now, we'll get into what? Interview itself. Okay, so let's see now how you use a single servlet for development of a application. Simple C, we'll have only one servlet. Okay, and all the requests will come to a single servlet. Now this is my servlet. The name of my servlet is what? You can give any name, but we generally keep it as controller servlet. Okay, generally we keep it as controller servlet. And look at this idea now. So when you make a request now, first understand this concept. The request will come to a servlet. This would be your servlet, and in your servlet you are going to write 4 types of logic. First understand that. This is your controller servlet. There are 4 types of logic you will be writing now. One would be controller logic. I have to show you everything now. One would be controller logic. Second would be business logic. You already written all this. Third would be persistence logic. And fourth one would be presentation logic. Yeah, controller logic, business logic, persistence logic, presentation logic. 3 already written. Business logic means when you get the values, what logic you want to do. Domain logic we say, that will perform. Persistence logic means storing in DB or whatever it is, updating and all that. Presentation logic means giving the display. So these are the 4 types of logic you write. Only thing what we have to cover now is controller logic. So here what I'll do, I'll take one application which I already developed. When I had shown you, I was teaching you servlet, I had taken one simple application and I had one HTML and 4 servlets. If you remember that, this screen. Okay, one HTML and 4 servlets I had. So that same project, I'll convert it into what? Single project. So here what happens? So yes, obviously that servlet needs what? Database connection. So think logically. If it needs database connection, you should not hard code what? I'm showing you how to write a single servlet now. Okay, you should not hard code any which one? Configuration values. So the configuration value should be stored outside. Yes, you have to store it outside. But since your project will always contain a single servlet, okay, so the values will be needed only for a single servlet. So which parameter is better now? Config parameter or context parameter? Config parameter. So store the values in your configuration parameters into a single servlet. Okay, do this means try to do this project, many of your concepts will get clear. Understood? So then here you will be storing it in configuration which one? init param, and you will get your values and you will do the initialization. That is okay. And you will be having service method. Why you will be having service method? I will not override do get or do post. So many concepts will come see now. Because sometimes you will have get type of request, sometimes you will have post type of request. See here it might be get, here it might be get. But next request is entering password. What it will be? Post. Okay, like this. Sometimes you might have get type of request, post of type of request. Whatever the case, you have to execute your logic. So one option is override both the methods. Which one? Do get and do post. Other option is directly override service method. So this is the reason you override directly the service method. Clear? Fine. So that is okay. Now, yeah. So these 3 we are clear. I'm just concentrating more on the controller logic now. Let's see this. See now all is okay. Now till now what was happening? Whenever you used to click any button, okay, it used to generate on URL, and you know the flow. URL will come to the servlet. A servlet can never execute without a URL. It's mandatory. But here the thing is what? For all the servlets we need what? It should come to the same servlet means you have to give what? Some common URL. But if you give for everything common URL, what logic will it execute? So that's why what we do is, see how we do the URL mapping. Everywhere now, we'll just add form action wherever it is there. You'll be having a form action. Supposingly, here there are 2 forms. Existing user is on form, new user is on form. So I'll have two forms. In the one HTML file, I'll write two forms now. Let us take the example of home.html. The first one is the HTML. So in home.html, I'll be having form action is equal to let that method be anything, we don't bother now. Method is equal to get or post. What will happen? It can execute the service method. So form action is the most important for us. I'll close the form. So you'll have what? Input type is equal to submit, value is equal to existing user. Same, I'll have one more form. Form action is equal to, let's see what value I'll give. Input type is equal to submit, value is equal to new user. Close the form. So you know, both the requests or both the submits will come to what? Same servlet. But it will come to the same servlet, but I want different logic to execute now. So in one servlet only you'll have different logic now. In one servlet only what you'll do now? If you click on existing user, it should display this. Understood? If you click on new user, it should display what? Enter name, enter password. Understood? I have not written that, but understand. If you click on enter name, which one? New user, it should display this. Existing user, it should display enter name, password. Similarly, if you enter this, it should display what? Yeah, hello Mr. User, thank you for becoming a member. So all this should go to the same servlet. Okay, so that is why what I'll do for bringing the request to the same servlet, see for this one, I will give the form action as exist you have given till now, but just give one more value called as dot do. Means it can be dot slash or whatever. Form action is equal to dot slash, you know why you do, but give the extension as dot do. That extension can be anything. Dot do, supposingly if I want, I can give it as dot css, means cluster software solutions, anything, any extension give, but give it as dot do. That is only very important for us. See this now. Here I will give as what? Dot slash new dot do. Everywhere now. Everywhere you'll start giving what? Dot do. Here, supposingly I submit. You have to verify now. It will come to what? Login servlet. Earlier it means you are written, but it should come to which now? The same servlet. So I'll give the value as form action is equal to, here I'll give now what? Form action is equal to something like check dot do. Check dot do. Like that I'll go on giving just dot do. That's it. What will happen in the web.xml, in the URL pattern, what will I do now? Let's see now what we do it in the servlet. So this is your servlet. This is your servlet. You'll have servlet name, servlet class, you'll close servlet. So generally, okay, what is the name of the class? Com dot cluster dot controller servlet. Close servlet class. Servlet name I'll give it as controller. Any name you want you give. That's only the name. That is okay. But now servlet mapping. This is very interesting. Servlet name, URL pattern, close servlet name, servlet mapping. Yeah, see here, we are closed. The URL pattern now would be star.do. This is very important now. Means let any request come as .do. Anything .do, new .do, check .do, sign .do, anything .do. Understood? Exist.do. It will be sent to which one now? This servlet. That's it. You know how to do the mapping. And it will go to controller servlet. So I showed you how to bring the control to same servlet. Understood? You got the idea why we use the .do now. Because you are using .do, all the requests will be coming to the same servlet. Like this, see, you click existing user, this one. So what is the URL which will be generated now? Exist.do. Exist.do means what? Start.do. Anything .do, it will go to controller servlet. You click this button. it will be generating new.do. Again what? The URL. But again it will go to controller select. You press that button, submit, check.do. Again it will go to same select. It goes to same select, but for one click you have to execute one type of logic now. So that is why in the select what you will do now, see this clearly the logic. You will be calling one method called as get servlet path, a very important method. I have shown you this logic when I show you all the different methods of HTTP select request. This is one of the method which is present in HTTP select request. Okay, so call this method. As soon as you call, no, it will give that exchange, means the last part of it. What is the path? Servlet path it will give. Means for controller select to execute this one, what is the value it needs? Either exist.do or new.do or sign.do, whatever. That path means for executing a servlet you need on URL path, no. So that value it will give you, and that will be coming in the header information. When you click on enter, no, submit, so that will come. So you can get that value by calling what? Request.get servlet path. When you call that, it will be giving you that value. What you know? Exist.do, new.do, like that, depending on what you have clicked. So it will start executing now. So I'll check. If strpath equals of exist.do, if it is exist.do, what will you do? You'll say pw.println, enter your name, enter your password. But if it is new.do, see like this, every time the request comes, it will come to the same servlet. It will go on executing. Request.get servlet path. Okay. Is it equal to exist.do? No. Then the next one. Supposing I clicked this one, new user. It will check this one. No. Then again it goes to what? New.do. Then it will execute this logic and give back which one? This response. Enter your name, enter your email, whatever it is. Again you press all, enter all these values and press submit. Okay, again the request will come to what? Start.do. Start.do, again it will go to controller select. Again the service goes on executing. So request.get select path. What will be the value this time? Check.do. So it goes on. Is it exist.do? No. Is it check.do? No. Is it new. Sorry, yeah, is it check? No, it is not check.do. We are going with sign.do, sorry. Sign up, no? Sign up. Sign.do. Sorry, just change this. It is sign.do. Means he is signing up. So if sign.do, what will happen now? This logic will execute. Means it will connect to database. So here you will write the logic now. What is the logic you will write? You will write the business logic. Then you will write what? Means whatever logic you want to write, then you will write persistence logic. Then you finally write what? Presentation logic. So like this you will write all the logic. But which one is the controller logic? Means you got the idea now? Which one is the controller logic? This one only. You are controlling now. If the request is new exist.do, do this. If the request is check.do, do this. If the request is new.do, do this. If the request is sign.do, do this. So that itself is called as controller logic. Understood? Other logics you know. Business logic, persistence logic, presentation logic you know. Just I explained you what is controller logic. So your servlet will always contain 4 types of logic. Clear with this? This is the foundation for next bigger applications. I don't know how important it looks for you. It looks very casual. Okay. But when I am teaching you something, I will be setting the stage for some big thing. So remember this. So quote this actually. Clear? So fine. So this is how we write a servlet. Understood? So I'll just show you the output of this. The idea is what, it's very simple now. Just everywhere do what? Do. Select what you will do. Start.do and map it, and here you start writing the controller logic. I already shown you this example. Only I am bringing it into what? Single servlet. All logics I have covered. Just I am bringing it into single servlet. Are you all clear with this? Okay, just see this. If you click on, click on new user, you know what? Existing user, you know, no? It will come to the same servlet and it will tell you what? Enter, and not return it because I needed space. Enter name, enter password. So here form action will be what? Check.do. /. Like this. So you enter the name and password and submit. It will tell what? Welcome. Hello Mr. Means if it is correct, welcome, else not welcome. But all the requests are going to what? Single servlet. That's the idea. Clear? So this is the full diagram of your application. Practice this application. This is a very important application. In fact, you have written all the logics. So this logic, without referring to anything, you have to write. Understood? So, and you connect to database. Connect to database, insert the values, and if the existing user comes, you have to connect to database and check welcome or not welcome. I'll just remove this Apache Tomcat because it will bring all the jars. So just remove this. When I was creating the new project, it was not there. Properties, how you remove? Build path, libraries. Done? Okay, see to that when you are creating a new web project, it is none. Next you'll get now put you there none value. Fine. So now fine, this is okay. Now see this project here. Yes, this is the SQL file. I kept it. So I'll be working with on customer table. You know the same table, customer name, password, email, phone. The same table. I think we have got it, but still I'll create it once again for you. And I'm having one HTML file. You know this, see this exist.do, new.do, all this okay. So if I click, now let's see, look at the web.xml. I need config parameters. All this is okay. I need params. I'm having, that is okay. For time being, I'll remove it. Just a second. Now see how is the mapping done? Start.do, controller, select. Understood now? Yeah. I'll bring back the I need param. We need it. So then in controller select, yes, we need initialization. See, every time the request comes, you don't want the DB connection, no? So we need lifecycle support. Yes or no? We need the lifecycle support. So yes, I'll go with init method. Fine. Then this is the service method. And in init method, what did I do? I get all the values and I get the connection. Connection has been made as a object level resource. Instance means init. Why do you use init method? Summary you can see now. Init method is used for doing initialization of the servlet. Config object is used for storing the configuration values needed for the servlet. Difference is that. Understood? So fine, in the service method, why am I overriding service? You know, because sometimes I might get the request as get, sometimes I might get it as post. So that is the reason. And here see, if it is exist.to, that's all. Only on extra I am writing condition. Exist.to means you print. SOP path you print. You'll see that. Request.get servlet path, first you print the value, you'll understand. It will print you what? Path.do. Like that. Means sorry, exist.do. Whatever. In the URL, what will be coming, it will be printing. So yes, if it is exist.do, I have to just do what? Enter name, enter password. That's it. Fine. If it is check.do, what I should do? I should verify his name and password in the database. That's it. And if it is, see, I'm using finally here. I'm using finally, try, catch, finally. Now these are all local resources to else if block. Handle your resources properly. These are all resources used in else if block. Then again next I'm closing all the resources. Means finally is used for closing always local resource or method level resource. Then fine. Then if str equals new.to, what will I do? New.to I have to enter, ask him to enter what? Name, email, phone and all that. Same thing. If path.equals equals sign.to, you have to verify his sign up. If he's a new user, he's doing sign up. So I will get all his values and I'll insert it into database. So that's it. And I'll close all the resources. And in the destroy method, I'll close which one? The connection. Okay, destroy method gets executed before the servlet instance is destroyed. Understood? Yes. Now one more thing. Just see the concepts. If you want, you can use what? Welcome file. That is optional. I am not using it. If you want, you can use welcome file also. See how it goes on now. Clear? Next, if I want, I can do load on startup now. See how many concepts will come here. There is only one select. So obviously, what will your value? Where will this come now? I think it should be here. It's in order. First init param should come, then load on startup should come. So the select, as soon as you deploy it, is ready, asking for what? Requests. It will not even wait for the first request. So that's how you go on using it. Clear? So anyway, I'm not using which one? Welcome file. If you want to use it, else leave it. Clear? And if you want, you can configure what? Session timeout, all that. Okay, session config, session timeout, all that you can do. So a project is ready, but we have to see whether a table is ready or not now. So first we will, you understood the project now? Yeah. We'll open up Apex. It's all about coding in single Servlet, man. Nothing else is there in this project. A customer table is there. We are working with this table. Better is I'll drop it so that the table is dropped, and I'll create a new table. And I can come and check. There are no records. Yes, we'll start using the application now. I'll run this program now. Run on server. Yes, see, I'll start using it here only. See the console now. Clear? If I click on a new user, first new user, there is no user only. New user. New dot to printed now. What it is printing? See this one, this URL it's printing. Slash new dot to is there now. So request dot, as soon as I click the button, it went to controller Servlet. In the controller Servlet, request dot get Servlet path. Request dot get Servlet path. It will check exist dot. I didn't click that button, so then it clicked into which one? This one. It was not that also. What was it? New dot do. So that is what? Sign dot do. That sign means we are printing str path here. That is why it's printing in the console. See there? Sorry, new. Which one I clicked? Yeah, new dot do. New dot do will display what? Okay, enter your name, enter your email, enter your phone. But str path was what? New dot. So what is that new dot? Where is that value coming from? See this in URL, you can see this now. That value it is. So I'll enter now. See this. I'll enter the name. Or it's okay. I'll enter the name Ravi Amog. Email ravi@gmail.com. Phone number 1111. Submit. What is it going now? Sign dot do now. So request dot get Servlet path value will be what? Sign dot do. So which logic will execute now? Sign dot do logic will execute. See this? Controller Servlet. Where is sign dot do? This one. So it connected to database. So that is the controller logic. Now this is business logic. And then you are writing. There is no business logic. Still now we are not writing any business logic. We will be writing it shortly. Now we are writing the persistence logic. We are connecting to database. And this is the presentation logic. Means, hello Mr. Thank you for becoming a member is the presentation logic. Go and check. Done. Like this it goes on now. Now see, the user comes back. Supposing he clicks existing user. It goes on working here. See there exist dot do. Put on SOP, you will only understand. Name is what? Ravi Amog. Hello Mr. Ravi, you are welcome. See how it goes on executing. So this is how you write a single servlet. Clear? Fine. Now I did load on startup. init method never got executed. Did you notice that here? When did the init method get executed? When you start the server, it's already waiting for request. So understand how you implement or use the concepts in developing your web application. All concepts I have taught. As you go on developing your project, you will feel the need of it. Okay, then you'll start using all these features. All the features you'll use. So I covered all the most important features only. Done? So init param you'll use. So context param very rarely you'll be using. Context param. Context attribute you'll use. Why you'll use attribute? Because the same value will be required by multiple users. You'll use session attribute. You'll use request attribute. All those you'll use. That you'll understand as you develop applications. But I just conclude now how to use or how to write a single servlet for means how to write an application using a single servlet. Very, very, very important. This is the stepping stone for something called as MVC design pattern, model view controller. Understood? If you understand this only, you'll understand what next. MVC. In your college also I studied, I know very well. Okay, how far you know, God only knows. But we are going to see MVC in a very powerful way. So MVC is one very important design pattern which is used in the development of every application. So if you want to understand MVC, understand this flow first. I'll go bit by bit I'll go. Then I'll make it big. Yeah? So if you want to understand anything ahead from now, struts, JSF, which one? And there are so many frameworks. Okay. So any framework if you want to know, this is very important. Clear? So that's it. Then one more if you want, you can write some notes about front controller design pattern, some 2-3 points you write, later on you'll understand this. Having many servlets means many entry points for a single application gives many problems. In any web-based application we need to perform some common tasks like security checks, logging the client information, okay, and validating the session, applying encryption algorithm. When we have many entry points for the application, we need to write the code related to the above tasks in all the servlet, which gives code duplication problem and reduces the system flexibility, thereby increasing the maintenance. Plenty of problems you'll face. They are not 1 and 2 problem. I cannot tell if you write multiple servlets how many problems you'll face. I can just tell that you'll face plenty of problems. Okay, and we need a single entry point. That is the problem. Solution is what now? The design pattern is named as front controller design pattern. This is a JW design pattern. Use front controller design pattern. According to front controller design pattern, we need to write a single servlet to receive all incoming requests. And because of having a single servlet, we can write the code related to commonly required tasks at one place. And this reduces the code duplication and increases the system flexibility. Yeah? So more you'll be understanding this. Okay, that's it then.